He was walking along the Thames and was then seen heading south on Westminster Bridge about an hour later. And half an hour later was seen on Vauxhall Bridge. And about half an hour after that was seen entering and then exiting Battersea Park from the same entrance before crossing Chelsea Bridge, where that last sighting of him pacing up and down, leaning over the railing was seen.
Police will begin searching the River Thames for the body of Abdul Ezedi, the suspect in the Clapham corrosive substance attack. Detectives believe he went into the water near Chelsea Bridge in West London a few hours after a mother and two daughters had a corrosive chemical thrown over them in South London. Here's Metropolitan Police Commander John Saville.
Last 24 hours we have meticulously been viewing all of the available CCTV in and around the Chelsea Bridge area. It is our now main working theory that Ezedi has actually gone into the Thames from Chelsea Bridge. Our Marine Support Unit will be carrying out some searches of the Thames, but as you can imagine, at this time of year, the Thames is very fast flowing, and our expertise and the experts from the oceanography departments that are supporting us would indicate that it may be some time, if someone has gone in the water at this time of year, for a person to surface, and sadly, they may never actually be found.
Well, that's Met Police Commander John Saville. Times Radio's Joe Hawkins has been following the story. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, Callum.
So first of all, then, the latest from this police briefing and what the police have said about their kind of assumption that he is in the river.
So as we heard from Commander Saville there, it's the main working hypothesis that Abdul Ezedi has entered the water and also that death is also the most likely outcome. And this is all, of course, just days after they said he believed he was being helped by others to hide, and properties were searched up in Newcastle, and their inquiries were targeting more of his associates. And of course, we know that there was arrest of one man on suspicion of assisting an offender. But after this police briefing, it is, as we heard, their main working hypothesis that Abdul Ezedi had entered the water near Chelsea Bridge and that they'd be conducting searches along the river using boats and taking place at a low tide. But as we also heard there, at this time of year, the Thames is very fast flowing and it's not guaranteed that we could ever end up recovering that body. So at present, it remains a working hypothesis and searches are set to begin.
Gosh, it's so difficult, these cases where there's kind of a lack of certainty around exactly what has happened. In terms of how the police have reached this point then, how have they sort of retraced his steps and his movements? Because we've been getting semi-regular updates on sort of tracking him around London based on CCTV footage, etc. So just talk to us about how all of that has played out.
Yes, we've been seeing various released CCTV videos and footage of Abdul Ezedi caught at different parts of the city. And now a couple of timestamps have been added and we've got a real clear picture of what was pretty much exactly a 4-hour window from the attack taking place on Leicester Avenue in Clapham to the last known sighting of Abdul Ezedi on 11:25 near Battersea Bridge, near Chelsea Bridge, where he was leaning over the railings, pacing with purpose, they've said. And so what we now know is that he was seen driving in Streatham at 7 o'clock on the night of the attack, and the attack took place at 7:25 on Leicester Avenue. 8 minutes later, Abdul Ezedi then boarded a train at Clapham South Underground Station and headed north up to King's Cross Station, where he left at about 8 o'clock. About 45 minutes after that was that photo that was on many of the front pages the following morning of him in the Tesco Express, showing that facial injury that he's carrying. And then 15 minutes after that, he caught the Victoria line back southbound again from King's Cross, left at Victoria Station, and then boarded a District line train where he headed to East London and was seen at Tower Hill about 15 minutes after that. And then there was about an hour past when we didn't see any of Abdul Ezedi, and that's because he was walking along the Thames and was then seen heading south on Westminster Bridge about an hour later. And half an hour later was seen on Vauxhall Bridge, and about half an hour after that was seen entering and then exiting Battersea Park from the same entrance before crossing Chelsea Bridge, where that last sighting of him pacing up and down, leaning over the railing was seen. And that's essentially what the police have managed to tie together, which has brought us to that main working hypothesis that he's likely entered the water.
Joel, thank you very much. Thanks for the update. Times Radio's Joe Hawkins with the latest on, well, the search for Abdul Ezedi. Worth noting that the injured woman remains sedated in hospital. There are concerns she may lose sight in one eye. Both her children, aged 8 and 3, have been discharged from hospital. And here's an interesting text actually from Victoria. Why do we say entered the water as opposed to jumped into the river? Well, I think because that's the language that the police have used, is kind of, rather than asserting exactly how he may have ended up in the River Thames, which is their working assumption, that there is a kind of gentler language to be used in order that no sort of false assumptions are
So
made.
we don't know if he fell in,
Exactly.
we don't know if he jumped in, we don't know the motivation, we don't even know if he's in there for sure. The police don't know that.
Yeah.
So it's just reflecting their language.
Exactly. So, yeah, fair question, Victoria, but hopefully that explains that based on how the police are operating and the fact that they haven't established exactly what has happened here, then the language has to be slightly softer.